Hi, I'm Dr. Kurt Wohler for Sunrise Functional Medicine. The title of this short video is Elevated Heavy Metals and Low Dose DMSA. So here's the information for this video. This information is for educational purposes only. Any interventions that I discuss in this particular video does not necessarily apply to anybody beyond the person that this was done for, and this certainly doesn't convey any type of doctor-patient relationship. So this is a hair analysis, what's called a hair metal test. These come from Mosaic Diagnostics as well as Doctors Data Laboratory. And this was a profile that was done in 2022, and we can see a number of elevated heavy metals. We've got cadmium, we've got mercury that's high, silver, and then interestingly, you also see uranium. Now that's something that tends to show up here in the United States at least, but I do see it in places around the world where uranium tends to be high, probably because of groundwater, where uranium is found high in certain water supplies. It's very common, for example, in Southern California. So what was done for, fairly inconsistently, but was an attempt to do some sort of natural detoxification remedies to try to lower metals, and we can see that it did have some effect, but the mercury certainly normalized. The cadmium actually went up, and that could just be from ongoing exposure. We also see some reduction in silver, but the uranium essentially, stays about the same. So it was determined to place this individual on 25 milligrams of DMSA, which is a specific chelator for various heavy metals like lead, mercury, arsenic, and others. And it was done at a low dose. That's typically what the low dose DMSA option is where you're using DMSA in a lower dose. And there's even lower doses than this particular individual. But the schedule essentially was DMSA per dose for 3 days, on and then 11 days off. So essentially they were doing it every other weekend. And then the dosing in most of these circumstances, about every 4 hours over a 3-day period of time and then 11 days off. So they did that actually twice. So essentially they went through what was called 2 rounds of low dose DMSA. Now, some liposomal glutathione was also in play, as well as some other support supplements, multimineral, multivitamins, some antioxidants, some essential fats, methyl B12, and then generalized liver support, which usually includes things like milk thistle. And what occurred was quite dramatic. We see a complete normalization of all of the previously elevated metals. So the cadmium is normal, the lead is normal, the mercury is normal. We see a complete normalization of tin, many of the others up top, the antimony, for example. We still have some mildly elevated uranium, but that again is likely just occurring from where this individual lives, just through their water supply. So the thing to keep in mind was that there was nearly a year and a half, 2 years of trying some different types of products to support things more naturally, but the DMSA in just 2 rounds took care of the elevated metals. So this is a 3-year-old child, and we see in this particular case, we've got high levels of arsenic, we have high lead, we have elevated mercury, although just sort of slightly elevated, and then uranium is also elevated. So in this particular case, 12.5 milligrams of DMSA was implemented per dose. In this particular circumstance, 3 days on and 11 days off for 2 rounds, so essentially within a month, and then switched to a 3-day on, 4-day off cycle thereafter, and the total duration was 4.5 months. Similar supplements were used in this particular case of the liposomal glutathione, multivitamin, mineral, antioxidants, methyl B12, and some liver support. And the results, again, were quite dramatic. So a complete normalization of all of the metals that were elevated before. You see an elevation of nickel And the suspected reason why that's high was that the family actually implemented some new cookware, probably stainless steel, and certain stainless steel cookware can leach nickel, particularly when cooking with acidic food. So that's likely why that particular marker goes up. And nickel doesn't carry the same level of problems per se like lead and mercury. It's certainly not benign. One of the major things to be concerned with nickel is it can be a trigger for allergic reactivity. However, it can also have some neurological influences. So it does need to be brought down. So for more information about our clinical practice, which is Sunrise Functional Medicine, you can look us up online at mysunrisecenter.com. You can also email us with questions or inquiries at scmedicalcenter@gmail.com. You see our phone number on the slide as well. So again, I'm Dr. Kurt Wohler for Sunrise Functional Medicine. Thank you.